even kid.
Smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, the hellraiser. Raise hell with the flavor. Terrorize the jam like troops in Pakistan. Swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man. So tick tock and keep ticking. When I get you flipping off the shit I'm kicking. The Lone Ranger, co-ed, danger. Deep in the dark with the art. To rip the charts support the band.
Episode 1, Raw Talk, Unfiltered podcast. I'm here with Anton from Lone Wolf. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Or actually, thanks for having me.
Well, my establishment, your show, our equipment combined.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a hardware issue, so we're using some of his stuff and some of my stuff. But this is definitely a learning curve. It's the first time. We got lighting equipment and microphones and mixers and headphones, and so it's a little bit awkward for me. But I've done a couple radio shows with Kingston Radio, so I guess, and you have your own podcast.
Yeah, I have my own show called Something to Drink About. So it's not only like a written format, but it's also like an audio version as well. So,
and where can people hear that?
That's going to be on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. So pretty much anywhere you get your podcast, that's where it's distributed to.
And how many episodes do you have?
Right now, I'm actually doing a relaunch, so we're starting fresh. We originally had about 10 or 12 episodes, and then due to the pandemic and also losing some information over that time, I ended up just scrapping the entire show, and I'm going to be starting fresh on a new foot and kind of pivoting to kind of encompass more of the local community than ever before.
So right now, there's nothing up?
Right now, nothing.
Nothing up?
Yeah, I'm literally redoing it now.
Okay, so let us know when it's up.
Yeah, should be shortly.
All right, cool. So the reason I wanted to sit down with Anton to talk is because I feel like he has the passion, and the eye and the commitment to quality and perfection and
I'll fill it. Thanks, Bill.
You could fill it in, right? Really cares about what he's doing. And some of us take things really seriously, and some people say we take it too far when people are fighting over bagels and pizza and they think it's a joke and they laugh and they're like, but some of us take this like really seriously. Like, this is our life, right? So when, we talk about like, oh, this mixed drink, it tastes better at this place, or this mixed drink tastes better at that place. And some people don't care. Some people just want to drink and get drunk, or it tastes good if it comes out of a bottle. They don't care. But some of us, it's a craft, it's a passion, it's our life, it's our we dedicate years and decades over life to these minute differences and details in the food and beverage to space. And I think in Ulster County, I don't personally know anyone who's taking it more seriously than you. I think a lot of people agree, but I think when we take these things so seriously, sometimes we could be misunderstood. And our passion can sometimes be misinterpreted as being a snob or being pretentious or whatever, right? If you want that, right? So I guess my question to you is like, what does the average consumer who goes into a restaurant or a bar for a cocktail, what are they missing, and what are they misunderstanding about you and what you're doing there?
I mean, that's a great question, man. Like, I think that with us, like you said, like we focus a lot on the spirits, the process, the program, the ingredients, the texture, the temperature. So like, there's all these minute details that we take into consideration. And it's like, those are the things that we care about that we wish other people would care about. And it's because those little differences will set that drink apart from anything else that you're getting. And sometimes, we can be a little stubborn in our practices, but it's not because we're trying to be dicks. It's because we genuinely just want to make sure that you're getting the best possible variation or version of that drink that you're getting. Or if you say, I don't like mezcal, I don't like rum, I don't like this, I don't like that. Cool. Let's have a conversation about it. Like, let's talk about why you don't like it. Maybe it's because you had a bad experience with a brand. Maybe you had a bad experience at a restaurant or a bar and they just gave you a really shitty version of something that you were hoping was going to be better. It's like, just trust us to deliver to you.
Right.
And I think it really does start with just having a conversation with a guest and saying like, hey, this is a safe space. You're not going to get something terrible here. And also, if we give you something you don't love it, tell us. Talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what can we do differently to make it more more in sync with what you're looking for.
It's the one thing I've noticed. I'm big friends with Marcus at Aroma Time, and he has a huge wine collection of bottles and mezcal and tequila. And the thing is like, they and you want to get your drink right so that you drink more in the long run. Some of these, let's say Applebee's, what a joke, but it's like, they'll pour you some shitty cocktail. You might not like it. It's $9 margarita night or whatever, and you never order it again and whatever. But like, even if you lose, if let's say, oh, you make some fancy cocktail and they're like, I don't really like it. And cocktails at a high-end restaurant could be $14 to $18. And people might feel like, oh man, I just wasted like pretty good money on this drink that I don't really care for. But if you can step in and say, look, well, what do you like? What don't you like? And let's figure out what you want. And then next thing you know, you make a drink that they've never had before. And this flavor explosion, and it sets off like, wow, I've never experienced this before. And then they order 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. And now you're farther ahead than just serving them one drink they don't like and rushing them out the door and they never come back. So it's that level of customer service and care to detail, and service to your clients and your customers, that you're really doing them a service in the long run. And by doing them that service, you're helping yourself, because you're going to end up making more money in the long run by making your customers happier. I think that's really what you do here is, I'm not a big drinker. I'm really not. Just recently I kind of started dabbling with cocktails. I think a lot because of you, actually. And I've never had cocktails like I've had here. And they're just fabulous and amazing, and really kind of challenge your taste buds, or challenge what you think cocktails are. And I really have to sometimes dive into my encyclopedia of flavors in my Rolodex, and I figure out what's going on, because a lot of them are so complex. It's not just a bottle of sour mix and some Foley Pervo and there's nothing wrong with that too. Like I agree that there's always a time and a place for everything, but it's like, if you're going out, I still stand by that in our community. What we want to do is we want to raise the bar. We want to challenge people, not just our guests. We want to challenge other business owners to try to do better. Like, hey, like, we can do this. We can dedicate time to train our staff and teach them about all these nuances, just like Marcus does. It's like, why don't more places take that on? Like, why are they so fixated on the food and less on the cocktail program? When you look at the numbers too, like, cocktails are actually a much better, like, profit item. Like, you get significantly more money out of cocktail. You know what? You're dealing with shelf stable ingredients versus in the kitchen. Well, stuff is going to go. That makes sense. That's incredible. That's why so many bars just want you to come in and want you to get drinks, and then, they're making more money off the drinks. That makes more sense, with the happy hour or like some special, dollar oysters or
and what they're doing a lot of places is they cheap out because they buy like inexpensive bottles, and they're like, oh cool, like I can buy this $12 bottle of vodka and I could charge $10 for this, and I can make my money with one cocktail. And it's like, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, you want to do volume, but at the end of the day, like, volume doesn't necessarily get you across. Like you were discussing, to your point, like, challenging people to drink better is really what's going to do you the service to the long run. So you're not necessarily going to see those gains immediately, but it will pay off, because you'll have repeat guests who are like, what, I'm coming here because I know I can get something exceptional.
And when your typical restaurant or just hires a younger bar attender, I don't know if we're calling them a bartender, mixologist. I think a lot of these places just hire a body to go down the list of ingredients, kind of like kind of like Lego, building Legos. This is just a recipe, right?
Yeah.
So you think, oh, it's a recipe, anybody can do it. Well, we know in the kitchen that's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know why restaurants and customers aren't taking their drinks as seriously as they're taking their food.
Right. Sorry, I especially.
It's 50% of the experience. Food and beverage. I mean, they go hand in hand, and they complement each other too.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to do here too with your menu. A lot of your menu items are eccentric and different, and where is it? But Southeast
Asian, so my wife's Cambodian, so a lot of influence from that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, and then some of the drinks, you got a lot of tiki vibes, or
Yeah. I mean, we got some tiki, go back to Fuchsia Tiki Bar, New Paltz, which we lost in 2023, unfortunately. But even so, yeah, it's all about just kind of like exposing people to as many cool things as possible. And we were talking about this earlier about like how people just hire a body. And that's unfortunately the case. Like ever since the pandemic, we saw this like mass exodus of like talent in the industry. So people who were barbacks got promoted to bartenders. People who were bartenders got promoted to bar managers. You had hosts who were thrown onto the floor as servers, and servers were promoted to AGM. And these people were not trained up. They were not given the skill set to be successful in their roles. And what happens is they get burnt out. They don't have the support behind them. And when they end up feeling like they failed, they just drop out of the race. And you just have this revolving door of turnover in every single restaurant because they're like too fixated on putting out the dumpster fires instead of pausing and saying, you know what, why don't we like train up our people and give them the support they need to be good at their job so then we can step back and focus on all the other stuff.
yeah, if they're thrown into a position that they don't have, what's the word? They're not into it. They don't have a lust for it. They don't have, there's no interest. There's interest, passion. There you go.
Yeah.
So they're not going to care. Yeah, throw it together, trying to get off the door.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because it's like then you're doing a disservice to the guests because like now guests are walking in, this is the experience they're getting, and they're just kind of like, all right, this is the norm. And you do it enough times, it become conditioned to think that this is how it is everywhere.
So to be a good bartender, is a bartender the industry standard name?
Yeah, I'd say bartender. I mean, like you could call yourself mixologist, like when you're doing all the prep in the back and you're batching and you're infusing and you're doing all this other crazy shit. But once you're behind the bar, you're tending bar. You are a bartender.
Okay.
And making drinks is like only 10% of the job.
Well, what's a bar back?
Bar back is like the ancillary support role, like the person who's getting your ice, filling your juices, filling your batch bottles, cleaning up after you. So in a lot of places in the city, like you have bar backs who literally will set up the well for you within an inch of its life. And the bartender literally just kind of walks in 5 minutes before the shift starts and everything's done for them. They make a mess. They leave the mess. The bar back cleans it up.
Did they cut up the fruits and juices?
Yeah. They do all they do all like the minutia for you. So it's kind of nice. And it's like, I've never worked at a bar that's ever had a bar back. So like I've always done all my own work. And, when I did a guest shift a few months back at a place in the city, they're like, oh yeah, our bar back's got you. I was like, bar back, that's kind of a foreign concept. They're like, oh, didn't you have that up in your area? I was like, no, not really. Like that's kind of a foreign thing. Like bartender just does everything.
Right. Right. That must be nice.
Yeah.
That's almost like you're walking in like a VIP, like a all-star in the baseball or something. You're just like, I'm the bartender.
Yeah. You just like wipe this sweat off your brow, throw in somebody. Here you go. There's my dirty towel.
You're in and out. You're in the work and you be. Does the barback typically get part of your tips?
Yeah. You tip them out. The servers also tip out the barbacks depending on the structure. So, I mean, they can definitely walk away with some decent money, but like there's a lot of grunt work involved to get in the industry as a result. So think of it as like paying your dues.
Right. So as a, restaurant and I need somebody to be a bartender and let's say, some people quit and it's hard to find good employees during COVID. What do I look for when I'm hiring a bartender? What prerequisites am I?
I mean, I'm always looking for somebody who's like charismatic. So somebody who is immediately like makes eye contact with guests, immediately like drops what they're doing, says hello to people coming in, says goodbye to people walking out, like constantly head on a swivel, like monitoring the state of the bar, cleaning up empty glassware, dirty napkins, little things. It's like that little attention to detail is huge. It's like, this is your entire work surface.
But you might not know that going before I hire them.
No, but like when you're interviewing them, usually you just kind of like give them scenarios and they're like, hey, like how would you handle this? Or like, let's just say a guest doesn't like their drink. What do you do? What's your next step? And depending on how they respond and how candid they are about it, like I can definitely tell whether they're going to be a good fit with us or not. And from there, I'll have them do a trail for a couple days and see how they fit, make sure it's a good environment for them and it's a good environment for us.
But what kind of, education or background?
I mean, I'm looking for somebody who at least has the minimum understanding of like spirits, like, hey, the difference between mezcal and and other agave spirits like Sotol, Raicilla, and Tequila. Like maybe somebody who understands the difference between bourbon and rye and Irish and Scotch and why you use those particular spirits. Like I'm not looking for somebody who's like, oh, whiskey is whiskey is whiskey. It's like that's kind of silly. I mean, if they don't even have that, but they at least have an interest in learning and they're eager and they get their eyes light up when they're talking about this stuff, okay, they might be trainable.
And you can, a lot of that minutia you learn just from experience.
Yeah.
But what, is there like a bartending school? Like how do you?
I mean, like for me, I went through a very like unorthodox training in the sense that I didn't have formal bar training. I actually taught myself everything behind the bar when I was working at a casino upstate years ago. Okay. And I was actually a beverage supervisor. And then towards the tail end, I was actually assistant beverage director for the resort. So I was overseeing like beverage ops across the entire resort.
Which resort is it?
Turringstone. Yeah.
But didn't you end up going to the culinary?
Yeah, I ended up going to culinary, but that didn't have a beverage program when I was going. So like they only had a wines class, which was now basically like considered advanced wines, but that was the extent of it. So you never learned anything about spirits.
Okay. Do they have one now?
They do have one now, which is really exciting to see. But I mean, even if you don't have access to the culinary and you have like very limited resources, like there's so many books, there's so many articles, there's so much digital media out there that like it's almost impossible not to throw a stone and like learn about something.
Yeah, I mean, I always go to the YouTuber college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's and there's so many great creators too that like are doing drinks, whether on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. Like again, like it's not hard to find information. Whereas like years ago, you had literally like an online forum of like 20 or 30 bartenders that were spread across the country, and they're like, hey, does anybody have the spec for this one random cocktail from like the 1930s?
That's why. But it's hard you can't really go into a job interview and go, yeah, well, I learned on YouTube. Say, well, I'm not this. Yeah, some kind of credentials, or I guess I worked at this bar, I worked at this resort, I worked at this.
Yeah, usually your best bet is really to start off as barback because that's where you're going to learn all the best practices.
Yeah. I think, do you actually have somebody make you a drink during like the interview?
Yeah. I'll throw them like something really straightforward. I'm like, hey, make me an old fashioned, make me a daiquiri, make me a margarita. Like I had one interviewee a few weeks ago. I was like, hey, make me a daiquiri. And she was like, oh, but you don't have a blender. And I was like, yeah, I don't need a blender. She was like, oh, like, so where's your sour mix? I was like, we don't use sour mix here. So, we didn't configure for it, but yeah. I mean, she also didn't have the best availability either, unfortunately. So it wouldn't have worked out either way. But
what's interesting is Anthony Bourdain always said that, like, in order to prove that you're a really great chef, and particularly during an interview, make an omelet. Make an egg, because if you can perfect something so basic that you can kill it, just that warm, easy thing, that proves that you pay attention to details. And so when you say making like a run-of-the-mill copter.
Yeah, like and have your old-fashioned, or as I said, a daiquiri, like those are all like very basic things that a bartender should be able to make, but like because there's so few ingredients, you have nothing to hide behind.
Right.
So now I'm looking for technique, I'm looking for texture and dilution and temperature and like all those little nitty-gritty things that most people do kind of like overlook.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell now there's a lot of chefs that just throw ingredients into a pile because it sounds fancy, and their customers don't know the difference. Because like, mushroom this, and with caviar and eggs and asparagus and forage, ramps, and you just add like all these random ingredients. You're like, holy shit, that sounds crazy. This guy must really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And just because it sounds complicated. But if you don't know the basics, then throwing shit on a plate doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or they don't complement each other. Yeah. And that's the one thing I think with this place. I mean, some of these drinks, not being a drinker, I'm like, this sounds complicated, but once you taste it, you know why.
Yeah. And we go through the thing that a lot of people don't see on the back end is like, we will actually make the same drink with 3 or 4 or 5 different brands of the same spirit. So we'll do like a tequila drink. We'll have 4 or 5 brands of tequila. We'll try each one individually. Do like, how do I like this now? How do I like this in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes? Well, like,
because the ice melts.
Yeah. We want to see like, how does it taste long term? Like if somebody's sitting there nursing it for a long time, like, is this best format for it? Do I want to use cold draft ice? Do I want to use like the pebble ice? Do I want to use the big blocks? Like, what is the ultimate end for this cocktail. Go first.
So actually, you know what? I'm going to go back a little bit. I wanted to ask you this. What is the roots and the history of tiki?
Oh, man. So tiki dates all the way back actually to pre-prohibition. Phone call. Where are they going to get at this hour? What's time is it? It's not even right around noon. Yeah, like 8. Are you guys open? Never them making reservations. Maybe, but yeah.
Around. I equate tiki with maybe like some kind of Hawaiian culture.
Yeah. So it was basically right around the time of Prohibition. So 1920s to 1930s, basically, Prohibition was enacted, and people had fascination with the South Pacific. And fast forward to the war. However,
Yeah, it's about me.
yeah, the soldiers that were coming back that were stationed in Hawaii, they had this experience at this beautiful island, and this gray man, Don Beachcomber, was actually the guy who basically was the godfather of all of this tiki. So he was the son of a wealthy oil tycoon, and on his 18th birthday, his parents were like, "Hey, you could take your inheritance and go, or you can stay here and kind of make something of yourself." So he was like, "You know, I'm going to take my inheritance. I'm going to go hang out with Grandpa, because Grandpa's got a schooner and he's going to take me across the Pacific, and we're going to stockpile booze and have adventures."
You got pirate.
Yeah. So he started doing that. He started collecting stuff on his travels, mostly like just bootlegging booze, which sounds like. But what was interesting is once Prohibition was lifted, he landed himself a job in Hollywood, working as a stagehand. And during that time, there was a lot of movies that were kind of showcasing the South Pacific. So he started to basically borrow, or tactically acquire, as I like to call it, a lot of the props and a lot of the, wow, that's how that all comes from. Yeah, so he started stockpiling that, and then later on, he was able to actually open his very first place called Don Beachcombers. And he outfitted it with all this like decor, all this shiplap, and all this other crazy stuff. And he just made it very, very immersive. And the bartenders were actually all in the back. So it was all Filipino bartenders that he hired. And he didn't divulge any of his recipes. So what he was doing is he had different blends of different rums, different syrups, and they're all labeled in code. So Don's Spices #1, Don's Mix #3, rum blend #4. And the bartenders only knew those code words. They didn't understand what was the actual mix. He was the one mixing it all up. Is that still there? Let's go open it. No, it's long since closed, but his wife actually was the one who helped him franchise. So years later, she basically helped him take the idea, standardize it, and then start scaling up his production of the rum and of all the syrups and stuff to different facilities. But they would only get unmarked packages, and it's like mixed package A with package B. So again, there was still a lot of secrecy there. Like he was worried that somebody's going to try to copy his concepts.
And Trader Vic did 100 years later, if they did.
Yeah. Well, Trader Vic was one of his regulars who ended up also going to business and started doing the same thing with tea, try to do these tropical exotic cocktails. Difference with Trader Vic is he was the better businessman.
Is there any Trader Vic stuff on there?
There's still, I think, 1 or 2 Trader Vics actually abroad. I don't know if there's any in the United States. I think that Trader Joe's. Yeah, it's kind of funny out there. I think Trader Joe's just kind of like bootlegged off of that name.
I think that, they have like Trader everything.
Yeah.
So tiki is a Polynesian type of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of this like amalgamation of different cultures, and it was really just grounded in escapism.
Good, but doesn't South Asia, East Asia, any connections with that?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was more just kind of like an amalgamation of like the South Pacific.
Okay.
But again, like they were more kind of fascinated with the culture, with the women, and then the United States, Don Beachcomber specifically, just started kind of like plugging in his own kind of versions, his own twists on it. So he was using a lot of like the teas that you find in Hawaii, bringing them back and using that as kind of like a opportunity to give the place more authenticity.
So I've been to a couple TV bars that have, interactive, usually volcanoes, that might erupt and smoke. This we order certain drinks. Yeah, that is plans on incorporating any of that here.
I mean, I would love to, but dude, animatronics would probably be a bit of a nightmare to do. But yeah, if I had an unlimited budget, I would absolutely do that.
It's fun, but I think Mobile's a little more upscale for that.
Yeah, I mean, when we opened Mobile, the whole premise behind it was actually to showcase the wall, like, hey, we're capable of doing something other than tiki. Because like from 2019 until 2023, everyone knew me and my wife as the Tiki Picor. We've had like New York State's artist rum collection. We were big nerds into this whole thing, and what started off as kind of like a fascination of, hey, how come the Hudson Valley doesn't have any tiki bars? We should open up our own. Became a whole kind of like rabbit hole for me as to sugarcane spirits, production method, history, and I started kind of going more into the educational side of things and less so into the tiki.
But now that you've closed down that your bar there's no tiki left.
Yeah, I mean, outside of what's the new place in New Paltz where the sideshow? No, not sideshow. Shorty's just opened. Like, yes, yeah. So it's the same folks from Darlings and
There was hot dogs, and
yeah, but there are some tiki cocktails that they're doing there too. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like, that's nice to see that like somebody's carrying the torch.
I'll have to check it out. I know they have a hot bomb tower. It sounds amazing. Yeah, those like seafood tower on that 3 layers. It's like that, but it has like 12 hot dogs. Yeah, so I'm gonna order that. That sounds wise and leftovers. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna play a little video that I made from our sponsor, and we'll be back, and we're gonna have Anton make some drinks for us.
Oh yeah,
we're talking to her.
Are you a coffee drinker? Over 65% of Americans and more than 40% of the world consume coffee every day. TinyDogCoffee.com has the style you want. With a 100-year-old, 4th-generation owned roaster in New York City, specifically roasted and natural flavors of the highest quality possible. Actual hazelnut, fresh dried blueberries, and toasted almonds in the beans. Small batch local. TinyDogCoffee.com offers epic coffee selections that will fulfill your coffee needs. Morning Walk Hazelnut, Tail Wagger Blueberry Cream, Sloppy Kisses Rocky Road, and of course, the Big Bite Espresso, and many more. Visit TinyDogCoffee.com to get your order in today. TinyDogCoffee.com, the Hudson Valley's smallest coffee purveyor.
Okay. That's why I love the tiki vibes.
Okay, are you thinking like lighter and brighter, or are you thinking something maybe a little bitter, something to kind of cut through some of that sweetness?
Whoa. I like sweet, so I would say sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour? Okay.
Sweet and bitter.
Okay.
Sour and bitter are tough. They're similar.
Okay, challenge accepted then. I already got something in mind, man.
Okay. I come from the coffee world where sour and bitter are on the same line. It's very hard to distinguish. Now, I've had a few mixed drinks here before.
And they're not terrible.
No, I love Mai Tais. I love anything with like pineapple or passion fruit.
Well, this one's got pineapple in it, and you'll definitely be in for a surprise on this.
Okay. But the most important part is the tiki mug.
Oh, absolutely.
I forgot to tell you that part. And you have quite the collection of tiki mugs.
Yeah, and that's not even the entire collection. That's
no,
like
that's the other half
that's like a fraction of what we do.
Ooh, what is that guy?
Oh, that's our
parrot.
Our parrot. We got even more stuff over here. It's insane.
All right. I trust you. Whatever you think.
I think this is definitely going to be right up your alley. This is like iconic tiki right here.
Okay. Now you guys only do tiki on Sundays?
Every Sunday, yeah. I mean, doesn't mean I'm not going to do tiki if somebody asks for it.
Okay.
I'm always happy to accommodate.
Whoa, what is that?
But we're going to go some pineapple leaves, some dehydrated pineapple, some orchids, And for good measure, bendy straw.
Bendy straw.
Bendy straw. There you go, man.
So what am I looking at?
So this is a classic Jungle Bird.
Jungle Bird.
Yeah, the cocktail itself goes back to the 1970s at the Hilton in Malaysia. Jeffrey Ong was the creator of it, and the name actually comes from the aviary bar, which is in the Hilton. I don't know if it's still there anymore, but it was basically a nod to the tropical birds that they actually had on site. So, thoughts?
Dude, it's so fucking good. And it's 12 o'clock, and I'm going to drink the whole thing. What are you doing to me? Oh, this is great. So, yeah, it does have a little bitter thing, right?
Yeah, that's the Campari coming through, but there's also like 5 different kinds of rum that we use in our Jungle Bird blend.
Okay.
So you got like the blackstrap molasses, you've got Jamaican rum, you've got some gold Jamaican rum, as well as like the dark Jamaican rum, like the Myers. So it's just kind of like a really cool way to show the versatility of using multiple rums to really achieve a depth of flavor.
This has 5 different rums.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And you pre-mix that?
Yeah, we pre-mix the rums just because grabbing 5 bottles plus everything else will be a pain in the ass.
What are all these?
These are all of our batches. So like most of our cocktails require a lot of minute touches. So like a quarter ounce of this, 1/8 of an ounce of this. So if you scale it up, you can make a more consistent product.
Okay. And when do you mix those up?
Those are mixed up actually like every single week by me.
Okay. Dude, it's delicious. It really is. And I've never had cocktails like this. And, I go to Barbados every 2 years. I've been there like 7 times or something. And, their big thing is rum punch.
Yep.
And I cannot get a rum punch anywhere in Ulster County that tastes like the rum punch I get in Barbados. And you know what? I've never had your rum punch. So that'll be on my list next. I never even thought about asking you to make your rum punch. But I'm a fruity guy. I love the pina coladas and rum punch. Rum punch is very sweet.
Yeah, and a good Mai Tai too.
Yeah. I'm not a purist. I'm not, I definitely don't like old fashions. I don't like strong alcohol. And this is just delicious. Fruity, sweet. Definitely is balanced with that bitterness. Presentation is on point. It's fun. I think for somebody who doesn't drink a lot, when I do drink, it needs to be fun. Because I'm not drinking to get drunk. I'm not drinking for a buzz. I don't really even drink to like socialize. Just when I go out with my wife, I really just drink to like enjoy the flavor. And for me, it's almost like a dessert, like a treat, in liquid form. And you guys kill it every time. This drink and Foxhall.
The Foxhall Shakedown, yeah.
Foxhall Shakedown. Which one's that?
That one is pineapple passion fruit, lime, and our locally made vodka right here in Kingston, Carnivat.
Witwick Spirits, right?
Witwick Spirits, yeah.
Yeah, they're great dudes over there.
Yeah.
Jonathan and
Kieran.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Kieran is like a mixologist master.
Oh yeah, he's got either a master's or a PhD actually in chemistry. So like he's a big nerd when it comes to stuff. So like we geek out over flavor profiles and volatile acids and stuff like that. So like we go really, really granular. But it's nice to see like he's putting out a product that he genuinely cares about.
Yeah, it's cool to see that coming out of Kingston too. I've been over there a few times. They're good guys. And they do a vodka. They do anything else over there?
Right now, they're working on a gin, so it's still a few weeks out, but it's in the pipeline. And I've tasted the early rendition, and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and they make some kind of like lemonade soda.
Yeah, he's doing vodka
Alcoholic.
sodas. Yeah, he's going to be actually canning those.
Yeah, I saw the cans on Instagram, like the pre-labels. They look really cool. That's very cool. Now do we have any other distillers in Kingston?
Not to my knowledge,
just Ulster.
No. Just Ulster County has a couple of distilleries.
Hudson House.
Yeah, Hudson House. Hudson Whiskey.
What's that one out there in Gardner?
Yeah, that's Hudson Whiskey in Gardner.
That was like Toll Town.
Yeah, they changed the name after William Grant bought it.
Okay, they did change the name. Thank you for having me behind the bar here.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
This is great. I'm like VIP back here.
Yeah, you get to see a little bit of the secrets and the science that goes into this. I mean,
it's definitely a science. Look at all these bottles. And how many different rums do you guys have back here?
Right now, I think total we have about 40, which is still on the small side. Like when we had the Tiki Bar New Paltz, we had actually close to 300.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to kind of bring that collection back up and showcase some really cool stuff.
How many rums would your typical restaurant have?
Typical restaurant, I find most places have maybe 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
And you have 40.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of these are like sipping spirits. Some of them are for mixing, but for the most part, like they all serve a purpose and they're all really unique. And it's really fun to just pull down bottles and talk to people about like the production, the history, why it tastes the way it does. Because it's
Very cool.
yeah, there's so much going on there.
Well, I am going to finish this, and next time we come back to the camera, I might have a little buzz, but we'll find out.
We'll see in a few minutes.
All right. See you later.
I sucked that. Oh, what are you drinking?
I got myself a Venus flytrap.
I'm jealous. I shouldn't be jealous because this is the best cocktail I've ever had. Yeah, I already drank 3/4 of it in 5 minutes. How much alcohol is in that?
I mean, that's a standard 2 ounces of booze plus another like 3/4 ounces of Campari. So it's probably going to clock in around the 20% mark.
Okay. I catch a buzz pretty quick, like instantly. So I'm already feeling good. That quick. Now, what is in the? Did you say what was in the Venus flytrap? I'm sorry.
Oh, Venus flytrap. So that's a combination of pisco, gin, rum, falernum, passion fruit, orgeat, cinnamon, lime. Yeah.
Oh, that's right up my alley too. I don't think I've had that one. I was talking to you about how next time I want to try the Anton Zombie.
Yeah, the zombie is not for the faint of heart.
No,
it's.
I think it's the most expensive drink on the menu.
It really is the most expensive drink on the menu,
okay.
but like there's definitely a reason for that. I mean, it's not only got like super high end spirits, but it's also like a sizable portion of spirits. So like the pour cost on that is completely out of whack. But at the end of the day, like what are you gonna do? Like it's a good drink.
Yeah, and you said it won best zombie.
Best zombie in the country, yeah, according to Punch Drink Magazine.
Punch Drink Magazine. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was last year, I believe, or the year before. So,
do you have to enter?
They reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, man, like we're doing a zombie competition, and like we know that you're a tiki guy and you're well known throughout like the community. Like, would you be interested in submitting your recipe?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I just submitted my recipe with the specs, and they're like, "Oh, well, how do you make the grenadine? And how do you do this? And how do you do that?" So I sent them all the sub recipes, and then they took it to their test kitchen. They recreated the whole thing. And then in front of a panel of 7 or 8 judges, they were like, all right, cool, here's like 10 applicants who are submitting their zombie recipe. You guys test it out and basically vote on what you think is the best one. And they get really granular into kind of like the texture, the flavor, the rums, the grenadine, like what stands out about it. And ultimately, by some miracle, mine stood out from the rest.
It's so weird. I didn't even realize you didn't make the drink yourself.
Yeah, no, like I had to send them the recipe and they had to reverse it. They had to basically recreate it. So I had to be really, really specific in my directions.
And I never thought about texture of a mixed drink. I always think about texture of an espresso shot because I drink espresso all day. I make it myself, but I think about gravity of a beer. And total parts per million and distillation and percentages of extraction. But this is the first time I ever thought about the texture or like the gravity of a mixed drink. So yeah, no, you're right. And it should be all drinks really.
Yeah.
Have it. I feel like Fiji water has a thickness to it.
Yep. There's
definitely a different minerals and stuff that make it thicker.
Yeah, and cocktails are really no different. Like when you look at texture, you're talking about like sugar, like and we're not talking about sweetness. We're talking about like the like sugar that actually gives it texture and body. So it's like that's why all of our syrups are actually 2 parts sugar, 1 part water because they're thicker, and you can then use less because we're not looking to make the cocktail sweet. We're just looking to give it more body.
True. Okay, that makes sense. Same with like purees, like fruits and stuff.
Yeah. It's exactly the same way. Like when you think about the consistency, that's why like it's so important to every time I make a cocktail, it's like, hey, let me straw test this in between, make sure that it's got the right balance, it's got the right acidity, it's got the right sugar content, it's got the right texture. Make sure it's not too boozy, not too astringent. So like these are the little things that kind of like will make or break a cocktail, or more importantly, save me time if I put it in front of a guest and they were like, oh, I hate this. This is disgusting. It's like, and I tried. I'm like, yeah, you're right. This is terrible. I don't know why I gave this to you.
Wow.
So for a first timer walking into Lone Wolf who wants to have this cocktail experience that they haven't had at other establishments, and you know, I'm really blowing some smoke up your ass over here. So I've been drinking margaritas at the local Mexican restaurant on Monday nights for $5 a pop, and I want to go out and try something that's going to blow my mind because Jason told me that Lone Wolf has this attention to detail and this attention to, you know, the sophistication that nobody else has in the Hudson Valley. What are you going to recommend that the first timer has when they walk in your door to understand the concept and the passion that Lone Wolf has behind its bar?
I mean, I would probably turn it back on them, and I would be like, hey, what do you normally drink? Like, let's get a baseline. Like, do you have cocktails that you have in mind? Oh, I like margaritas. Cool. Do you like palomas? Oh, I haven't had one. Okay, let me whip up a paloma for you, which is basically like it's almost like a margarita except for a highball with grapefruit. So really, really bright, really refreshing. We do our own twist on it. But that being said, like if somebody wants just a straight up margarita, cool, we got you. You're gonna get the best damn margarita we can possibly offer you.
Awesome.
But I mean, if you want something a little bit more esoteric, maybe you want something that's more spirit forward. Like, cool, you want to do maybe an Oaxaca old fashioned with reposado tequila, mezcal, agave syrup. So it's basically like an agave old fashioned. It's super crushable.
Okay. And do you do a smoked old fashioned?
We don't do any smoked cocktails over here. I've contemplated it, but there's also been a couple of people when we tried it once a while ago when we first opened, like people were complaining about the smell. Like some people were a little like put off by it, and they're like, oh, like it's kind of distracting. And I got really sensitive nose. I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we'll take that away.
Really? That seems like to be kind of a trendy.
Yeah, it's cool.
thing.
I personally love it. I think it's a lot of fun. But like again, I'm trying to be mindful of other guest experiences too.
Okay. And speaking of mindful of other guests' experiences, I think part of the misconception and the misunderstanding is you really don't want people walking around or causing a scene, and you really want this high-end cocktail bar experience where you kind of you're sitting at your table. I think you get misunderstood. So what is the experience when it comes to Lone Wolf when you're walking in and, you know, some people say, oh, you're not allowed to stand up at Lone Wolf, and you got a little bit of pushback online.
Yeah, no, we got a bit of pushback for sure, because it's like when I look at other establishments, a lot of them are just kind of like very casual, and they're just like, oh yeah, like you can stand at the bar and you can reach across each other's face, and I'm like, I get that, that's cool, like that's a communal setting and that's fine, but like if you're coming here, you don't want your interaction with your significant other to be interrupted by somebody. You don't want somebody standing between you guys and reaching across and grabbing their beer. So we always ask, like, hey, if you're gonna come here, like we ask that you be seated. If there are seats at the bar, please sit at the bar. If there are seats at a table and we assign you to a table, that's great. Like you want to grab just drinks, but there's no seats at the bar, cool, we'll get you a table. You can have drinks at the table. It's not exclusive. Right. And just conveying to people like, hey, we want you to feel comfortable. We don't want you to be standing around because potentially you might get in the way of the server or another guest, or more importantly, like it's just kind of disrupts the flow of traffic. So it's more about like how do we kind of keep order in a place where there's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and this is a small location and it's very intimate. Like,
yeah,
your tables are very intimate. I don't know how to explain it. It's the decor. It's usually kind of dim. You're sharing a beverage with your significant other or your friend, and it just feels more close.
Yeah,
more personal.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting on top of somebody else. You don't want somebody interrupting your conversation.
Yeah,
and that's why we even like took it a step further. Like when my wife and I were building out the floor plan, we were like, all right, let's measure out the space between the tables. How big are the tables? How much space is there in between? Is this going to be enough space for people to feel comfortable getting up, sitting back down? So like all those ancillary things make such a huge difference, and that's what I think a lot of places kind of overlook. They just try to cram in as many tables as possible.
True.
And it's like, that's great, you're going to get more business, but also you're not necessarily going to get a great higher end experience because people now feel like they're sardines.
Yeah, and I can feel the difference. Like instantly.
Yeah.
When you walk into the space.
Yeah, it's really meant to be more of a slower pace, and that's what we're going for. Is like, how do we give people a slower pace experience, kind of like take their time, enjoy themselves, not feel like they're being rushed out the door.
Yeah. And I think you told me that you do you make all of your new hires read
Unreasonable Hospitality.
Unreasonable Hospitality, right?
Yeah, that's a prerequisite. That's such an important book to read because it's got so many great lessons in it.
11 Madison Park?
Yep,
Right,
yep,
right,
yeah.
right. What was the guy's name?
Will Jadara.
Okay. That's crazy to think that you are hired by a restaurant and that restaurant gives you homework. I don't think I've ever heard of a restaurant giving their employees homework.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked at a couple of places, and there were places that were like, yeah, no, like this is the code of conduct, this is the employee handbook. By the way, here's recommended reading,
Yeah.
and they just kind of very gently enforce that.
That's awesome. That book has been quoted by everybody. I mean, it is the industry standard when
Yeah.
it comes to hospitality. And, the extent, the story about buying the guy a hot dog because they've never had a New York,
Yeah.
the woman a hot dog 'cause she's never had a New York hot dog.
It's those little things. I mean, like, do you watch The Bear?
I do.
Yeah,
Watch
so
them all, yeah.
so it's very much like that when Richie was staging over at Ever in Chicago, and like he was making somebody's night. I was like, dude, like this is exactly the kind of experience we want to deliver to people.
Yeah, I agree. And when I came here, I know you brought me a shot of Barbados rum because you had heard that I was married in Barbados.
Yep,
That was very cool.
Yeah, it's those little touches that I think are so important that like we as operators have an opportunity to take, and if we don't, it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is I think a lot of the clientele doesn't even pick up on it. That's a tough one because you can go out of your way and try to blow somebody's mind, but if they're not prepared or they're not even self-aware and they're just coming here thinking it's another restaurant, it's another run-of-the-mill mediocre spot, and they just want their mediocre food and their I don't want to say that. That sounds wrong, but if they're not prepared for it and they're not looking for it, they might not pick up on it, and those little things can go unnoticed, and then they leave and they might say, Lone Wolf is okay, not even realizing the treatment. I mean, I pick up on it right away. I hope that a lot of other customers can pick up on it. I don't know if a lot of Ulster County might not be ready for it. I think, with the influx of Manhattanites and more, I want to say influential, but that's not the right word. More people who are used to it down in the city and used to like a higher standard. Some of the locals who aren't used to it are kind of pushing back.
They feel like it's being gentrified, and it's like that's really not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to raise the bar and say, look, you guys deserve better options. You deserve better experiences. Like, you shouldn't have to settle for second best. And it's not because these other restaurants or bars are doing anything inherently bad. It's just that they don't know any better because they're just busy running their businesses. And I get it. Like, they're stretched thin, like we all are.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you just take the 5 minutes to pivot your mentality and be like, you know what? No, like, let's try to do something a little bit better. Let's try to improve ourselves 1%, just a little at a time. It goes a long way.
Yeah, and people are so used to going to a high-end restaurant for food, and they're willing to pay for the food, and they understand the quality of the food, and they understand local, grass-fed, organic, but we're just not, as a community or as a culture in America, or at least in the countryside, not used to putting those same that same effort into our drinks.
Yep.
And we really should be. And if you're looking for that, all of those minute details in your beverage and not just your food, then I really think Lone Wolf is the place to be. And I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing in the Hudson Valley. I don't really see too many other places doing it like that. With cocktails, I know Sorry Charlie's I had some really good cocktails over at Sorry Charlie's. I think they're on your menu as like a suggestion. Yeah. Wiltwick Spirits is killing it over there. Any other places you would recommend?
Yeah, I mean, Clio, Eliza, Mirador, like those are top of mind for me. Like those are wonderful places to go check out and frequent. And like our menu, and somebody commented this to me last night at our industry night. They're like, "Oh, hey, like I looked at your menu and you have like a list of places to check out. Like I've never seen that anywhere else." And I was like, "Are you guys local?" "Oh yeah, I live in Kingston." And like one guy is from the Strand, one is from Midtown, one's from Uptown. And I was like, really, is that really that much of a foreign concept that like another bar or restaurant is going to shout out their neighbors? And they're like, "Oh, but aren't you guys in competition?" And I was like, absolutely not. Like I can't do everything exceptionally well. I can do a couple things really, really well, but like if I want to get good Italian food, I'll be like, "Yo, go check out these guys over here." If I want good Chinese, I'll go recommend another place. Like I want to make sure I know I have my finger on the pulse and say I know where the good places are, because that's what people are looking for.
Yeah, I noticed right away when I opened your menu and you had a list in the back of like other local businesses to check out. And I was like, whoa, I have never seen that any other restaurant anywhere in the world or the city or anywhere. Yeah. So that's crazy, giving a shout out to, because, if someone's going to another bar and they're buying a drink or they're buying food, I mean, you are kind of in competition. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, a little bit. But I feel like it's also great because it promotes this healthy kind of like encouragement of each other, because like rising tides.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if we can raise the cocktail bar scene in Kingston, it's better for everybody.
Exactly. Because then like guests will appreciate it more. The bar owners will appreciate it more. Like everybody's going to be better off.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem is like you got to start with one venue like us and just kind of keep chipping away and trying to do better.
I mean, I think the other thing is you got so many people, you're not Uptown.
Yeah.
And, I feel like Uptown really got the trendier vibes and more upscale restaurants. It's walkable. You have more street traffic. You can bar hop. You can walk from one place to the other. To come here is I don't want to say a destination, but you do kind of have to go out of the way.
Yeah.
It's not walkable from Uptown or downtown for that matter. So you do have to come here specifically. I think Unicorn Bar is next door.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. I haven't checked their stuff out. But you have like this own little community here over on Foxhall. You could bounce back between the two bars.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, and if you wanted to, you could always walk down to Sorry Charlie's, or you could walk down to Sonder, or you could walk over to Little Italy. So, like, there's still a couple of places that are within relatively walking distance if you want to do a couple blocks, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, Sonder and Little Italy. How would you get down to Sorry Charlie's? That's kind of a distance.
Yeah, it is kind of a distance, but like, yeah, if you were absolutely motivated, the thought of
and I
pizza.
recommend it. The pizza is pretty good.
No, the pizza's amazing. I love those guys.
Yeah. And the food here is not too shabby either.
Yeah, no, we're not terrible. I think we know what we're doing. I mean, I have a culinary background, so like going to the CIA, a lot of people are like surprised when they hear that, because I don't actively advertise it like that I'm a CIA grad, mostly because like there's so many other places that have CIA grads at the helm. Mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, I'm in the kitchen, I'm behind the bar, I'm on the floor, I'm the PR, I'm the HR, I'm the plumber. I kind of do everything. So naturally I get a little upset like when people don't necessarily see like the amount of effort that has gone into this place behind the scenes.
Right.
And I get it. Like nobody's ever going to necessarily appreciate all the effort that has gone into it. They're only going to see like that like split-second image of the space and be like, okay, this is the experience I have. But if anybody knew that, hey, we opened this place up in just 2 months with liquor license and all, and staff and menu, and like we had no prior kind of opportunity to push this back, because like we had lost our lease of Fuchsia in September of 2023, and I had signed the lease on this at the end of August. So I literally had 2 months to get my ass in gear and say, all right, cool, we're gonna get this open, and it was a gut job.
I know places that have waited a year for a liquor license.
Yeah, no, we were really lucky because we were super organized with everything, like with all the paperwork and documentation. Like the week after we signed the lease on this, we already had done the drawings and the diagrams and all the stuff for the SLA. So they came back and they're like, dude, like this is the most complete application we've seen in a while.
Really? Was that Nick Warner at all? Or
No, actually it was a gentleman out in Poughkeepsie, Lorenzo Angelino, who basically did the paperwork for me.
Okay. That's awesome. That's amazing. Space looks great. I love the wallpapers and the darkness and the bathroom and the little signs and all the little details. It's a really cool spot. It's a great date night, and the cocktails are going to blow you away. So I wanted to sit down with him, Anton, and kind of talk about, I feel like I have a similar passion for food as he has for beverage. I feel like we're both a little bit misunderstood. And some people say, if you're not misunderstood, you're not doing it right. So
yeah. No, I've been called blowhard. I've been called a number of not so nice words in the past. I get it. Like we have the target on our back because we genuinely care.
Right.
And we care too much sometimes.
Yeah, and if you don't care about the same things, like I don't care about sports. Like I could give a shit about baseball,
same,
football, whatever. And you got people who are diehard.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and I love that, and I'm like, you know what, I don't necessarily appreciate it, but like I respect it enough to kind of try to take an interest in it, and I will not shit on them for going crazy when the playoffs are going on.
Right. If you're a Yankee fan and the Yankees win the World Series, I'm not like, you're a stuck-up prick because your Yankees won. No.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what, cool, like enjoy it. Like
I'm into food. You're into the New York Giants. We're all into different things.
Exactly, but like just being honestly nice to each other and just saying, you know what, I can see the passion here. I appreciate what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And it's like that for anything in life.
Yeah.
Everything. Like there's somebody out there who is like the best potter in the world, who makes clay, and the best audio technician and the best painter and the best. Anybody who's doing what they love with passion should be respected. And if you don't agree with it, then go somewhere else. Like they've decided to dedicate their life to this craft, and just because you're not into it doesn't mean they're any less of a person, or doesn't mean that they're conceited or they're an asshole or like that's what they're into. And I respect it all. I was big in the car scene growing up as a teenager, and there's a kind of a thing called like respect all builds. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, Hondas suck, German cars are better, oh, Italian cars are better, oh, American muscle is better.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're really into the craft of building a performance vehicle, the brand doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can just respect what they're doing with the medium.
Yeah. And
your medium is beverages. I mean, you also make good food. For me, more of my medium is just food in general. And I cook a little bit.
Yeah, and you've got the photography thing going on as well, and you've got the coffee. So like, you've got all these hobbies. Like
I forgot.
Yeah, yeah, like you've got a million things going on, man. Like, and you're really passionate about every single one of them.
Appreciate
like
that.
It shows.
I forgot about that. I think we've been going on for about 45, 50 minutes. I finished my beverage. It's delicious. I'm eyeing up your Venus flytrap. As soon as we turn this off, I'm going to ask you for some of that over there. It's hot out. It's the middle of the afternoon. We've been trying to do this for a few months.
We have. It's been impossible to get our schedules to sync up.
Sorry. It's mostly my fault. I've been slammed. I went out of the country, and then I had to edit photos for like 2 months. Whoa, ice machine. But this is the first one. Raw Talk Unfiltered podcast, episode 1 of 1. I don't know when episode 2 is going to come out, but sooner than later. It's going to take me a few months to edit this one. Probably. I appreciate you coming on.
Likewise.
And whenever you have your podcast up and going, I would love to join.
Yeah, that sounds great.
What's it called again?
Something to Drink About.
Something to Drink About. What's that? Something to Talk About? Is that a movie? What is that?
Something
to talk about. A song? I don't know.
Possibly.
Okay. But come on down to Lone Wolf. What's the address?
240 Foxhall Avenue on Kingston.
Foxhall. I knew that. Great space, great food, great drinks. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Cheers.
Peace.
Wu-Tang again?
Yeah, again and again.
Smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser. Raising hell with the flavor. Terrorize the jam like troops in Pakistan. Swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man. So tick tock and keep ticking. When I get you clipping off the shit I'm kicking. The Lone Ranger, co-ed, danger. Deep in the dark with the art. To rip the breaking charts apart. The vandal, too hot to handle your battle. He's saying goodbye like Tevin Campbell. What next? Inspector Dex on the set. The rebel, I make more